Hey guys, welcome back to Mad About Skin. In today's video, we are talking the new skincare line by Dr. Shereene Idriss. Now, lots of you out there will be familiar with the work of Dr. Shereene. She is one of my favourite content creators here on YouTube. And she's been teasing her own skincare line for like the past year and a half to 2 years. Well, the launch has finally happened, and I want to share with you my first impressions and thoughts. I know a lot of people out there will be rushing to get their hands on this skincare line, so before you do, listen to the pros and the cons in this video so you can make the right choice for your own budget and of course your own skin type. Sit back, relax, let's talk the new PillowTalk Derm skincare. Now, before we get into this video, I would love to know your own thoughts, feelings and opinions when it comes to this skincare brand, Dr. Shereene Idriss, the content she creates here on YouTube, and all of that good stuff. So sound off in the comments section below. There's this little thing called the YouTube algorithm whirring on in the background. The more likes a video gets, the more widely YouTube will distribute it on its platform. So if you want to do me a huge favour, whilst you're down there leaving your comment, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and a like. Because like I said, the more likes a video gets, the more wider audience it will reach. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much. I've got a lot to say about this skincare line, and I'm a little bit on the excited side, so I'm going to cut that waffle and just delve straight on in. So let's start with a very brief overview of the PillowTalk Derm skincare line itself. So like I said, created and founded by Dr. Shereene Idriss, who is a huge content creator here on YouTube, and I think even bigger over on TikTok. I'll leave a link to her channel in the description box below if you do want to check it out. I've been watching her content for quite some time, and a little bit of a disclaimer with this video. I'm going to be 100% objective, or try to be as objective as possible, but I am a little bit of a fan of her content, and I've been following a lot of her advice for the past couple of years, specifically around hyperpigmentation and post-acne marks and scars. She's really helped me to get to grips with my own skincare routine, understand ingredients and products better, and for that I am eternally grateful. So she launched with 3 products, all of them targeted towards hyperpigmentation. Now I think this is a bit of a business risk, because normally when we see new skincare launches, they tend to have like a cleanser, moisturizer and a couple of products in between, designed to appeal to as wide a bracket and audience as possible. Definitely if you are suffering with hyperpigmentation, dark spots and discoloration, this is going to be a product line that you want to take a look at. If they're not your primary skin concerns, you probably won't be buying this, which is kind of where I think the risk comes into it. As a brand, it's going to appeal to far fewer people than if just had a generic collection. But you know what, on the reverse side, if you are really concerned about hyperpigmentation, this definitely has a lot more thought behind it than some standard skincare launches that we've seen in the past. So the price point I'm going to come on to a little bit later in the video, but this brand claims to be BS free. None of the hype, none of the jargon, just really effective products delivered in a really authentic way. And also Dr. Shereene calls out the anti-aging element to this, because I think a lot of us, when we think anti-aging, our minds go to wrinkles, fine lines, things like loss of firmness and elasticity in the skin. Actually, the #1 reported issue that people have as they age is discoloration in the skin. So I think this is almost resetting our minds when it comes to anti-aging skincare, and that's really refreshing to see. Now there are 3 different products. We're going to start with the Flash Facial Mask. This is designed to be like a 2 or 3 times a week treatment that in here has glycolic acid, it's got lactic acid and tranexamic acid that's going to eat away at that excess pigment, resurface the skin, increase cellular turnover, and if you use it on a consistent basis, should absolutely deliver great results. I'm going to come on to the formulations in the pros section in a minute, but that's the first product from the line. They then have their Hyper Serum, which is designed as like the middle step in your skincare routine, which is packed full of other brightening ingredients such as licorice, but also has some great humectants, hydrators, and also has kojic acid, which is my personal favourite pigment corrector. I covered the reasons why I love this so much in a recent video, which I'm going to leave a link to up there, but this I think is a really nice ingredient to see in a hyperpigmentation line, and just I think speaks to the quality of the formulation you're getting here. Then finally they have their Active Seal Moisturiser. This one I find a little bit more confusing, but it kind of is designed to seal in all the good work and the actives that you've just applied through the other 2 steps, hydrate you to the gods, and also have some ingredients that again will continue that fading of hyperpigmentation. In here you've got a really nice blend of different brightening components and a vitamin C derivative, so a super gentle pigment corrector and skin brightener, and that completes the full 3-step routine. Now, the PillowTalk Derm website says that you can either use these in isolation, so choose your favourite one, slot it into your existing skincare routine, or you can use it as a complete regime if you're specifically looking to target hyperpigmentation. And again, I really like that, because I think often brands will give that impression that you have to use just their products if you ever want to achieve results. That is not the case, and it's nice to see a brand saying either use the whole collection or mix and match alongside your favourites, which is a really refreshing take on skincare. Now, we've got all that out of the way. Shall we talk about the pros and the cons? I'm going to start with the pros first because I'm all about the positives and there's a lot to say for this line. Let's first start with formulation. I was really impressed with the formulation of these products, especially when you see them as a collective unit. I'm not massively surprised by this because honestly, when you hear Dr. Shereene talk about ingredients, she's super passionate about it. Obviously a very knowledgeable dermatologist in her own right, and I think this definitely feeds through into the ingredients. What I'm most impressed with is there's no repetition. So what you sometimes get with skincare brands is like niacinamide in this, niacinamide in that step, and niacinamide in the moisturizer. And you think actually that all compounds to give too much of that active ingredient. It's not just niacinamide this applies to, you'll get it with hyaluronic acid, you can find it with vitamin C's. You know, I think brands take an ingredient and kind of go to town with it and put it in everything. There's very little repetition in this skincare line. So if you did want to use just the 3 products back to back and call it quits on your skincare routine, you won't be overdoing it with any of the actives, which is really nice to see. Also, I think each step kind of offers something different. So with that flash mask, you're going to get your exfoliation fix. You've also got tranexamic acid to fade that hyperpigmentation. And that's very different to the moisturizer, which is focusing down on vitamin C derivatives, licorice, and some other great brightening components. So every product is subtly different. So whether you use them together or you use them individually, you'll get some really great results. And I think this makes it a lot easier to pair into an existing skincare routine, which again, I really like to see. So the formulation for me is like 10 out of 10. I expected it, and honestly, they didn't disappoint. We're then going to come on to the packaging. Now, I know I often get red to fill for this. I'm someone that is very visual in the way that I am drawn to different brands and products. I like nice packaging. I like catchy titles. I like things that draw me in. Yes, the core thing should be the formulation, and what goes into the product is what really matters. But who doesn't want something that uplifts them, makes them want to reach for a product and look forward to it? And I think you definitely get that with this. The packaging is subtly different and unique in various different ways. So the moisturizer has a pump, very similar to like the Drunk Elephant Proteini moisturizer, if you've ever tried that one. That's not something that's that common in the skincare space, and I do think it elevates the packaging above the standard. The serum is the one that's really innovative. It kind of comes in like a pump. You click the top and some of the product comes out. That again, really like to see something just a little bit different to bring a little innovation, a little excitement to your skincare routine. And then the mask comes in a standard pump, which again is quite nice because I think a lot of consumers are asking for like airtight pump style packaging, and this is definitely a brand that delivers it. Finally, on the pros, we're going to talk about the ethics. I just really love to see a brand that's kind of not just built around the same mold that all other brands are. You know, buy our products, it will transform your skin. You don't need anything else. Actually, what they're saying is you can mix and match this with your favorites. They're focusing down on the other components of anti-aging beyond just fine lines and wrinkles. And I think, you know, well, Dr. Shereene obviously really understands hyperpigmentation, something she focuses down on in her channel a lot. And I think this knowledge really feeds through to this skincare line. And the website is super informative, which I personally love. And I think they've just got a great ethos behind the brand. When it comes to ethics, I believe that they're cruelty-free. Now, I'm going to call this out. This is something that really matters to me, and I did send an email to the brand just to clarify that because I couldn't find it anywhere on their website. Doesn't mean that they're not, and I expect because they're formulated in the US and they're not selling into mainland China, they probably are. But I do need to do a little bit more research and digging into that, so that's something I will call out as kind of like a grey area, but it doesn't mean that they're not. We just need to find out a little more detail. Now, we've covered off the pros. All the amazing things about this brand. Now, no brand is perfect. I know as a brand owner myself, there's definitely things on launch that I would have done differently with my own brand, and I'm sure there's elements of this that will feed into the future. So there are a couple of things that I do want to call out, though by no means is meant as shady or disrespectful. I think the biggest con is the price. This is actually cheaper than I expected it to be. If you watch any of Dr. Shereene's content, she does tend to favour slightly higher priced brands. She definitely has an eye for those products that by paying more, you get more. anymore. So I don't think, she's selling snake oil or whatever you want to call it to people, but I do think she tends to focus on the slightly higher price point brands, which isn't going to be to everyone's budget. I expected this skincare line to kind of follow suit and have a ridiculously high price point. It doesn't, but it is definitely not drugstore and affordable. So I will call that out. I think, the highest priced of the products, it comes in at around $60, and you can get the cheapest one at like $48. So it kind of sits in that bracket. It's not the cheapest, but again, each of the products does have multiple active ingredients in them, and I do think will give you really good benefits. You always need to match the skincare you buy to your individual budget, so this definitely isn't going to be for everyone, but I think I was pleasantly surprised that the price wasn't higher, though it does still seem a little bit on the steep side when you compare and contrast it to some of the drugstore competitors out there. I also think the pricing is slightly the wrong way around. So the cheapest product is that Flash Facial Mask, which I actually think is the best of the three. The most expensive, I think, is the moisturizer, which is my least favourite of the three. So I think maybe I expected that mask to actually command a higher price, because usually multi-active ingredient masks do come with a little bit of an inflated price point. But this one is actually, I think, the best formulated and the lowest priced. The moisturizer seems to command a higher price point, and that's the one that I question whether it's actually worth it. Whereas I think the mask for like $48 definitely will deliver a gorgeous glow up to the skin, fade hyperpigmentation, and has a really unique blend of actives, which I like to see. So I think there's a bit, in my mind, and this might just be me, I expected almost the prices to be reversed and the moisturizer to be the cheapest, the mask to be the most expensive, and it's not. Now, secondly, I want to call out just a little bit of lack of transparency. There's no percentages on everything. And I know this isn't going to matter to a lot of people. A lot of people judge a product by the results that they get, not the percentages which go into it. And I totally get that. But I am a little bit of a skincare nerd, and I like to know what I'm putting on my skin. So I kind of like to know what percentages of active ingredients are in each of the products. And you don't get that. I think that's a shame, because having watched Dr. Shereene's content for years, she's someone that really espouses kind of knowing the percentages, but saying like, that's not the full story. Formulation is key, but it's kind of a nice starting point. I also watched a video where she reviewed the Topicals Faded Discoloration Serum and said, whilst it's a good serum, because there are so many active ingredients in there, you're probably not going to get a whole lot of concentration of each individual one. That kind of, definitely dictated my thoughts on that product. And then we've got products here that have multiple different actives in them, but again, no concentrations. So I think it would have been nice to see, and that's definitely something that's easy to correct down the line. But I think that's definitely something that I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of, and maybe expected. But again, that's just me. That's not going to matter to everyone out there. Finally, I'm going to take a small issue with this no BS claim that comes on all of the branding. So I know Dr. Shereene's ethos on her channel is breaking apart ingredients and products and kind of taking away all the marketing and all that guff and actually just giving us the information we need. So this is very much the ethos that's followed through into this skincare brand, but couple of things I want to call out. First and foremost, there's a lot of things like 100% of people said that their skin felt transformed after using the moisturizer. And then you go into like the small print, it's like a survey of 29 people in an independent study. And you're like, A, we don't know anything about that study. B, 29 people, not that big a survey, even though I do know these things cost quite a lot of money to do on a larger scale. And 100% of people said that their skin was transformed. This is the sort of marketing BS that brands have been doing for years, and I kind of wished we'd moved away from. So that's a little bit disappointing. I don't think this is truly free of BS, if I'm totally honest. But you know what? I think we're all educated consumers. We know we can smell BS when it's in a video, and I think we can kind of just, move away from that. Don't take notice of the 29 people that said that their skin was transformed. Look for real reviews and real, people's experiences with the products. They're not the only brand to do this, so I'm not going to read them to filth anymore, but I think they could just take away that little marketing section, and then I think they will be truly BS free. So there you have it, guys. I put all of the products on order via a friend. I don't think they're launching here in the UK yet, but a friend of mine over in the States put them on order and will be sending them, and I can't wait to follow up this first impressions with like a dedicated review where I apply the products to my skin over a period of time and tell you the results that I get. I wouldn't have ordered them and spent my hard-earned coin if I didn't think they were worth it, and I think whilst the price point is a little bit elevated versus what I normally spend on skincare, I'm cheap. Drugstore to my core. I definitely think you are getting more by paying a little bit more with this line, specifically with that mask, which I was really, really impressed with. So we're going to put it through its paces, and I'll follow this up in a couple of months' time with a little bit of a more in-depth review of each individual product. What are your thoughts, feelings, and opinions? Sound off in the comment section below, and wherever you are in the world, guys, stay safe, stay well, and love your skin. Take care. Bye.